Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today into something I think is super important for all you English learners out there.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got some advice here from an English teacher named Sam
All right.
about how to stay curious while learning English.
Cool.
And I think this is going to be really interesting because, um, it's one thing to kind of like study the grammar and do the exercises,
Yeah.
but like how do you actually keep that spark alive,
Right.
when you're learning a language? And
Because-
Sam here is saying
Okay.
that curiosity is key.
And it's funny because a lot of people, I think they think of curiosity as just like this sort of like fun, fluffy thing.
Yeah.
But actually, it's really powerful. I mean, think about it. Like when you're curious about something, you're way more likely to like remember it.
That's true.
It's
Yeah.
like your brain is just like, oh, this is interesting. I need to hold on to this.
Right. And Sam was actually talking about how, like, one way to stay curious is to really like dig into the nuances of the language,
Mhm.
which I think is so cool. Like,
Oh, yeah. It's like those little details.
yeah, the things that make English
Like those,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
those idioms and expressions.
Right.
Like, oh, why do they say it that way?
What's the history behind that?
Exactly.
And I remember like when I was first learning English, there were so many times where I was like, wait, why do you say it like that?
Oh, for sure.
Then you learn the story behind it and you're like,
Yeah, and then it
yeah.
clicks.
Well, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, and then you never forget it.
Right, exactly.
Because you've got that, like, that story that, like, helps you remember it.
Yeah, it's funny because like even something as simple as like the difference between see, look, and watch.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
That one gets everybody.
I know, right?
But once you figure it out,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got it now.
And it's like, it seems so obvious.
I know.
But it's like, until someone points it out to you,
Yeah, you're just like, whoa.
why are there three words for this? Right. And I think that's kind of the beauty of curiosity too, right?
Totally.
It's like, it kind of like opens up these doors in your mind
Mm-hmm.
where you start to see things that you didn't even realize were there before.
Absolutely. And the cool thing is like it's not just about like those kind of like grammar details.
Right.
It's about like connecting with the culture.
Yes.
Behind the language.
So true.
Like understanding the history,
Yeah.
the humor, the references.
Right.
Like all of that stuff just adds so much depth
Yeah.
to your understanding of English.
And, Sam also talks about how curiosity can like transform the whole learning experience.
Oh yeah.
It's like, it's not just about like, I have to study.
It's not a chore.
Yeah. It's like, it can actually be fun.
Right. It's like an adventure.
Right.
You're like exploring.
Exactly.
Go for it.
Discovering new things.
And I think that's so important for language learners
Absolutely.
because let's be real, sometimes it can feel like a grind,
It can be tough.
it can be.
Especially if you're like really trying to, reach fluency.
Yeah.
But if you can keep that sense of curiosity alive,
It makes such a difference.
yeah, it can really like make the whole process more enjoyable.
It's like instead of feeling like you're stuck in a textbook,
Right.
you're out there in the world like using the language,
Right.
interacting with people, like having real conversations.
And I think that's what Sam was getting at with that pro tip about immersing yourself in the cultures of English-speaking countries.
Yeah.
Like, don't just study the language.
Right. Go beyond the textbook.
Yeah.
Experience the culture.
Yeah, like
Watch movies, listen to music.
travel if you can.
Yeah, travel if you can.
Sounds good, people.
Exactly. Like the more you immerse yourself,
Yeah.
the more you'll start to pick up on those like the subtle things that you
Okay.
wouldn't necessarily learn in a classroom.
And I think that's where the real magic happens.
That's where it comes alive.
Yeah. So I guess as we're kind of wrapping up here,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear from you listeners. Like, what are you most curious about
Yeah.
when it comes to English or English-speaking culture?
Yeah. What are you going to explore?
Yeah. What's that thing that like you're just dying to know more about?
Yeah.
And how can you use that curiosity to like fuel your learning?
Yeah. Make it an adventure.
Or get an adventure, exactly.
So go out there and be curious.
Be curious, everyone.
Have fun.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.